Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron LeGrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron LeGrand, and welcome to another edition of the Mentor Podcast, where our objective is to help you make more money, make it more often, keep more of it, and retire wealthy. Today, we have a couple of guests on here today, not one but two, and both of them are actually students. So I thought it'd be a good idea to hear from them, see what's going on in their world, and see how it relates to your world. We'll start with Travis Rakes. Is that, I pronounce that right, Travis Rakes?
Yes, Ron.
And you're from Florida, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So what's happening in your business, Travis?
Ron, right now I have some pretty house deals that I'm working on. I've got one under contract. I've got a 3,000 square foot rehab that I'm working on, and I'm getting going really well. I'm really excited about everything that's happening here.
All right. Well, I'm going to come back and ask you some questions. Then I'm going to let you guys jump in whenever you want. And I have Corey Ellis on the phone. You there, Corey?
I am, yes.
Okay. I know a little bit about Corey because he and I just went offshore fishing the other day. And to make matters worse, he caught the biggest fish and won the jackpot and cleaned us all out with $300, of which I am positive we're never going to hear the end of. Corey is in my real estate mastermind group, which is a group of people that have assembled that are on track to make $1 million a year, and we meet 3 times a year to keep everybody on that objective, and I work with them throughout the year. So Corey's a big part of that group and doing very well. So where are you from, Corey? I know you're from the north, but you're going south, aren't you?
I'm from Maine and working on getting to Florida as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, what's your business look like? It might be easier for me to ask both of you guys, how long ago did you attend the Quick Start Real Estate School?
Just about 3 years ago.
You're 3 years, Corey? How about you, Matthew?
Yeah.
Or Travis, sorry. Travis, how about you?
Ron, I'm a newbie. I just started in June.
Okay.
I just went to Quick Start in June.
So you've only been at it a couple months on Planet Ron then, huh? All right. Well, that's
exactly
good.
Right.
Now we get to compare two businesses, an older one and a newer one. So Travis, describe what you're doing right now. What kind of deals are you doing? And you say you live in mid-Florida, Ocala. That's horse country, just north of Orlando. So what's your business look like?
It looks pretty good. I mean, as far as the market, I have plenty of leads coming through, plenty of deals coming through. I've got appointments this week. One of my first pretty house deal that I put under contract was actually one of the deals that we called during the Quick Start School.
Really? So you came to the Quick Start School, which is our 4-day training event, where we called your leads. And so one of the wolves called one of your leads. Tell me about that deal. They set you up an appointment, didn't they?
That is correct. They set me up an appointment. The client was pretty firm on wanting full price, but after I got in, met with them, talked to them, explained to them what we were doing, was able to negotiate that down. And they were insistent that they didn't want to go long-term over a year. I did get them to agree to do it for 3 years on a lease option. We went in with owner financing.
So they started out with lease option. You turned it into owner financing. They started out with 1 year. You turned it into 3 years. And they started out with full price, and you got them to discount it.
Yes.
It's amazing, isn't it? Imagine that. It really works. Right, so
I just followed Ron's script.
That makes you an unusual guy, Travis. You know that, don't you? You follow instructions. That's weird. All right. So, what's the deal look like? What's your purchase price?
The purchase price on that one was, or his asking price was $269.
Okay.
And he's near the top of the market there, but I believe the house will go for in the mid 270s, say 275. But I was able to get him down to 260.
All right. And you got lease optioned it. So have you turned it around yet? Have you lease optioned it out yet and got a deposit?
No, they're still in the house. We're getting ready to do that and get everything finalized, but they're still in. And
what kind of deposit do you think you'll get out of that house?
This is a really nice house, Ron, almost 3,000 square feet. I'm thinking that I need to begin 25, 30.
I absolutely agree. That's exactly what I was about to say. 25 or 30 grand down. Okay, and I assume you gave the seller nothing?
Yes.
Okay.
You assumed correctly.
So nothing from 30 is 30, so that will be your front end payday. And then you're going to have a monthly spread on it as well?
Yes.
Of course, you don't know what the buyer's going to pay yet. You don't know what the buyer's going to pay per month yet. You don't know, but you'll have a good monthly spread for at least 3 years. All right. Let me jump over to Corey here for a minute. Now, Corey, you've been at it a while, where Travis is brand new. You got out of boot camp 3 years ago, right?
That's correct.
And you kind of had a slow start. Why don't you describe to our listeners what that means? You had a slow start. What was your big issues you had to overcome?
Mostly just fear of calling people, getting out there. I mean, I was working it full time, but I wasn't in it full time in my head. So just trying to get a reason to be there, to pick up the phone, make the phone calls.
Mm-hmm. So you had a little trouble with that fear thing, huh?
Yeah, quite a bit of trouble.
you really didn't want to make those calls. But actually, you went to the Wolf's Leads to Deeds deal, and they kind of got you over that hurdle by forcing you to make the calls and convincing you that there were no evil people on the other end of the phone, that they couldn't hurt you if there were.
Right. Yeah.
In reality, the only way you fixed it is you just started making the calls until if no big deal anymore. Is that about the right size of it?
Yeah. I started making 20 calls a day.
20 calls a day? Okay.
Yeah.
And most of them were worthless. Most of them said no, but some of them said yes, huh? Which is the business we're in, folks, in case you don't know, in case you haven't been to my Quick Start School yet, in case you haven't been to any business training. Reality is that all businesses are just simple math. You have to deal with a bunch of suspects in the top of the funnel to get them down to prospects, to get them down to people you want to do business with at the bottom of the funnel. This business is no different. And a lot of sellers have to be called, but fortunately we have virtual assistants that do all that front end calling for you. So you only have to deal with the people who show interest in terms. So that's only a handful of calls a week. Now, Corey, did you have a virtual assistant when you get started or not?
I did.
You did?
I sent out yellow letters and botched all of them.
Yeah.
Because I sent them out too soon. I wasn't ready for it.
Right. So in other words, one of the mistakes you made in the beginning was you generated way more leads than you were capable of following up and handling. So you just wasted a lot of money on marketing.
Correct.
All right. I bet you're probably the only one that's done that, Corey.
Yeah, right.
At least that I'm talking to today. unless Travis is the same way. Travis, did you start and spend stupid money generating leads, or did you follow my instructions and get the free ones first and then work them? What happened?
Well, I actually followed your instructions on that one as well, and I have a little bit of advantage. I had some of the struggles that Corey had about getting on started. I went to the Great American Real Estate Summit, which was awesome, and that's where I was first introduced to dreams and VAs, because I had no clue. I just knew I needed to do something, so I just showed up at the summit and got a good taste, got my feet really wet, and so I jumped off the deep end and signed up for Gold Club then, and the Elite program, got the dreams, and my VA put all of the things and pieces together for me, and my leads come in, I make the calls. All I do is check my emails. It's so simple, Ron. It's not even funny.
It is simple if you follow instructions. And so apparently you're one of the very few who actually did that. So you didn't waste a lot of money doing dumb marketing up front. What Corey did was not dumb marketing. It was just he wasn't ready for it yet, because I'll say it again. If you generate a pile of leads and you don't get them called and followed up on, then you're just wasting the money. So your VA leads are free or almost free. It costs $59 a month to be in the Gold Club, and then your VAs are very inexpensive on top of that. And by the way, if you listeners want to learn about our VAs, go to ronsva.com and you'll find information there. Of course, ronlegrand.com. All of this information is on that site. And you're using the Dream system as well, Travis?
Yes, absolutely. And I tell you, with the VA leads and all that stuff that the VAs do for me, mm-hmm. I think Dreams is just a great bonus. I mean, I'm so impressed with the program. My VA set up my website, and I got to tell you this, Ron. Right now, just in the last 4 days, I have 13 buyer leads. 7 of them came to me from people who just opened up my website and emailed me back through Dreams. And 6 more of them came through Pat Live that came from my Craigslist ads that was also posted by my VA. So there's 13 people in 4 days that want to buy houses that I'm working on right now.
Oh, so you better go buy some more houses, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
well, first let me retract here. Dreams is DREAMS. That's our CRM system. Actually, it's our system that replaces an employee. You can get more information on that at thementorpodcast.com/dreams. Thementorpodcast.com/dreams. It does pretty much everything for you except go out to the house and get the contract signed. Check that out. It's very inexpensive. But then I heard you say you use this system by letting the VAs do all the grunt work. So we generate leads for you because you're a Gold Club member. They come to your inbox daily. Then they go to the virtual assistants, the ones you send, and then they call them. And then you make a handful of calls a week and are actually doing what you were trained to do at the Quick Start School. So I congratulate you for that. And I can tell you right now, you're going to escalate very quickly because you actually just follow instructions and not have to reinvent the wheel. Corey, you're doing the same system now too, aren't you? Generating leads, using our Gold Club leads, using our VAs and calling them, correct?
Yes. Yep. I wish that I had that 3 years ago.
Well, you had it. You just didn't latch on to it.
Right.
So how many deals have you done since you got out of Quick Start School? Do you know?
I don't off the top of my head.
How many deals would you say you average right now going forward? I don't know, per month, per year, whatever you want to use.
The year started a little slower. It seems to be ramping up now. So probably about 4, I think like 4 per month now.
And you're in the process of moving to Florida, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess it's probably safe to say that you haven't put much energy into this business this year, have you?
Not where I should have put it, that's for sure.
Okay. On the other hand, you're making enough money to where you don't have to if you don't want to. But I know I've had conversations with you on the boat in our class. So Corey's going through a lot of stuff while simultaneously handling some deals. What kind of you live in Maine? You got really cheap stuff up there, don't you? Which is one of the reasons why you're leaving, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. You'll come down here to Florida where you want to raise your prices a little bit. So that's probably a smart move. All right. I want to ask, we talked to Corey about what his biggest hurdle was when he started. How about you, Travis? What bothered you the most when you first started here just a couple, 3 months ago?
Ron, my background is in construction management, as you know, and so I am an absolute thinker brain. And so I had to get everything in order and get it where I understood it and lock it in, lock it down, and close all the possible cracks and anything. And I spent a lot of time dealing with that minutia stuff, knowing in the back of my mind, where I should be going. So I would say early on, focus was a big thing.
So you have a hard time
getting off. Go ahead.
You have a hard time turning loose and letting other people do the stuff that you've been trained all your life, pretty much, that you should be doing. Is that it?
Kind of. Delegation wasn't really the problem. It was where I wanted to make sure that I knew all the pieces and parts of the puzzle where I went out. I know, Ron, your way background was a mechanic, and And I understand that Lee Iacocca turned Chrysler Motors around in the 70s, not because he could tune carburetors, but because he was a good manager. And I knew that coming into the business of real estate and in the Ron's world. What it took me a minute to discover was I'm trying to drive down the road and trying to get out and check the tires and check the carburetor to realize the team that you have built in Ron's world through Dreams and through the VA program and Gold Club, that I have the best auto mechanic in the world, and my maintenance is being handled. If something's broke, it's handled immediately. I don't have any issues. I just need to learn to let go and drive the dadgum machine because it's well oiled and running fine too.
Now, Travis, if I were to write it, I don't know how I'd write it any better than the way you just said it. And it would be good if everybody that we come in contact with would actually have that same attitude about getting out of their own way. I often tell everybody in my class, there's not one thing you do in business that somebody else can't do it for you. But of course, that message only goes so far. And I know we spend most of our lives doing everything, being responsible for everything, making every little decision, having our hands in everything. And it's kind of hard to turn loose because we've been trained just the opposite. But especially with your thinker brain mentality, which means you're very analytical, want every I dotted and every T crossed. So I congratulate you for being able to make that move and actually delegate stuff out that doesn't need to be done by you. And you're correct. We spent a lot of years building the team that we have, and people will get there a lot faster if they would just utilize it and spend their time doing what? Answer: make calls, visit houses, get contracts, put on the market, select your best buyer, because that's really what our business is all about, isn't it? Get rid of all the junk. Becomes very easy.
And get paid.
Yeah, select buyer, then get paid. All right, I forgot the get paid part, but I'll make sure I won't forget that again. All right. So,
well, Ron, if I could, I don't expect perfection. Materials, people, things, programs aren't perfect, but I do demand excellence. And Pam and the team at VA Services have outperformed and exceeded any expectations I could ever come up with. And I compliment you and the professional training that they have.
Well, thank you. I'll pass that word along to her if she doesn't get it before I do. She's not sending you money, is she, or anything like that? Huh?
No, and as a matter of fact,
no side deals going on here, Travis? All right.
No, sir. But I have sent her an email and thanked her for my VA and for recruiting and hiring such a quality person. I've never met her. I've only met Pam in person one time back at the summit. But I don't know where you would find higher quality people. I am extremely impressed, and Ron, you don't owe me a check either. I'm just so pleased that the dollars that I sent, like I said earlier, my VA services are what I feel like I'm paying for, and the Dreams program is a super bonus.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you actually latched onto it and are starting to use it. So what do you see going forward? What do you think is going to happen in your life in the next 12 months, Travis? Do you have a plan, a goal?
I do. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting at my desk in my home, which I love that. I don't have to go out unless I want to.
So am I.
And there you go. And I have a vision that I wrote down. And just real quickly, a couple of things. I'm about a month behind on where I wanted to be. But by the end of July, I want to have at least 4 pretty house deals done. I want to have, by December, I want to have 4 rehabs completed and done. And it is my goal is to build my business to a 7-figure income within a year.
Well, I have no doubt you will do that, sir. In fact, you probably are a good candidate to get into this group that Corey's in. Contact my office and we'll send you some information on it because I only got a couple of spots left. Or call Corey. He can probably tell you about it as well. So, Corey, are you still awake?
Yes, I am.
All right. So, what's your plan for the next 12 months? Do you have one, or are you just gliding along?
I'm just glad. No, I have a plan. I don't think that I could be in close contact with you and not have a plan.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get a few of these places up in Maine sold, which actually I had just got off the phone with a mortgage broker and got one of them sold. This month it's going to be gone.
You got, what did you say, 23 houses in Maine?
I have, well, no, because I've sold some of them, so probably around 20.
All right, so you got some houses in Maine you want to liquidate so you can get down to Florida and take a clean break, huh?
Correct.
So how's your plan and your expectations changed since you got into the real estate mastermind group, which was what, 2 meetings ago now? 2 meetings and a fishing trip ago now?
Correct. It took me a bit I just actually sat down since I got back after I nursed my arm back to health from catching that fish.
Oh yeah. Travis, you should have heard this. You sure it was screaming like a little baby all the way up when that big old, but he caught a big old amberjack, probably about I'd guess 25 or 30 pounder. I mean, I thought we was going to have to send a girl over there to help him pull the fish up.
Sounds like a lot of fun, Ron.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Problem is, we had to throw back all the red snapper because we couldn't keep them, man. That hurt. We had a ton of them, didn't we, Corey? We got a whole boatload of them things. Everybody was pulling them up.
Yeah. There was some nice ones, that's for sure. So since I got back, I did a really sit down, thorough investigation of what I have, what I need to do, and how I need to move forward. And so I have a pretty good plan. Probably email it off to the group in the next day or so.
Yeah. All right, good. That's one good thing about this group. We are always working with each other and emailing back and forth and answering each other's questions. And it's really, actually, this is the most active group that I think that I've ever led this year. I think I told you guys that at the last meetings. We had a really, really good meeting. Anyway, enough on that group. That's called the Real Estate Mastermind Group. If you are interested, contact my office and I'll get you the information. I only got a couple slots left, but it's a powerful group. Anyway, so going forward, back to you, Corey. Do you have any help right now, or are you a one-person show? Do you have an acquisition, a PA, or what?
I have a part-time PA/bookkeeper. I don't have an acquisitionist yet. I'm going to be working on hiring.
Plan on getting one.
Putting one in. Yep.
Self, right? Yeah. Okay. How about you, Travis? Are you working on getting an acquisitionist yet?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm still a one-man show at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I see that in the future. I can see where that is down the road.
All right. For the sake of our listeners, an acquisitionist is a person who actually does what you do, what we do, what I do, or what I used to, and that is make the calls and go visit the house, get the contracts, and then select the best buyer and make sure that the buying system is in place, as well as the purchasing leads. In other words, we got to work the seller and the buyer in at the same time, which incidentally is all automatic. It's all done for you pretty much. So an acquisitionist literally takes your place and literally brings in the money where you can just watch over the system and make sure that the pieces are in place. Some people have more than one acquisitionist, and I can make a case for that as well, since they don't get paid until they bring in the money from the sale to a lease option tenant buyer. So I've always said we don't start with an acquisitionist. Travis is a great example of that. Travis needs to get a little bit of legs under him. He needs to understand what he's doing, and he can then pass that information on to the acquisitionist and make that transition a lot easier. And I think you're probably pretty close to that point right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I'm getting there. And then the only reason because as you say, Ron, you can't find ugly houses without finding pretty houses and vice versa.
Yeah.
I have a business partner that I raised. It's my 43-year-old son who's a licensed state Florida licensed contractor. And he's going to be managing all of my rehabs and taking care of that end. And hasn't been to any of the school or training, but he certainly sees what I'm doing, and he's got a good vision for where we're going.
All right, good. Well, good to have your son on your team, actually.
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, do you have any words from wisdom for our listeners? I'm going to give you a second to think about that because we're going to close with that. If you were doing it all over again, what would you do different, in other words? And if you listeners want something free, and gosh, we got a lot of that stuff, you can go to ronsdollardeal.com, spell it out, ronsdollardeal.com, and get my wholesaling course for $1. As long as you join the Gold Club for a free trial, which you want to do anyway if you're on this call, for a measly $59 a month. It's an incredible bargain. You get all my forms and agreements, a couple hundred hours worth of training modules and daily leads coming into your inbox from FSBOs every single day, and a whole host of other stuff. So go to ronsdollardeal.com and you can download that wholesaling course for free. It's a $500 course. Or if you can go to ronlegrand.com, there's a whole host of things on there for you. In fact, right on the front page, there's some brand new courses, seminars that I just did. There's one on land trust. There's a whole hour-plus seminar on land trust and all why we use them and how we use them. And there's another one on using your IRA, which is something that I talk about a lot, how to do all of this inside your IRA and never pay taxes. We have a skit on there on handling a phone call, another one on visiting the houses, and all kinds of free stuff right there on the front page. Plus, there's my free book. You can get my book at ronsfreebook.com, but I believe you'll also get it at ronsdollardeal.com. So with that said, you guys have had time to think. All right. Biggest word of advice. I'll go to you first, Travis, that you can give folks listening in.
Massive action, Ron. That's in a short sentence. Take massive action. Don't wait around, as you say, in the minutia. Ron, I ordered from you for $1 your fastest, easiest ways to make money in real estate about a year ago. Heard an ad on the radio, answered that ad, got that, listened to those CDs probably 4 or 5 times. And read through the little book and got a good idea and kept telling myself, I need to move. And then in November, I had an emergency surgery, and I decided in December while I was convalescing that I needed to go on a diet. So I did, and I fired my boss. He weighed about 230 pounds. So I lost that excess weight and made the decision I'm going to go to this real estate thing full tilt. And that's when I signed up to go to the summit.
Well, how about that? How about that?
If I'd changed it, I'd have done it quicker.
Well, I'm glad you made it. All right.
Thank you.
So you're saying a little bit of movement is better than a boatload of meditation. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right.
Lead forward, get out the way.
That's it. How about you, Corey?
I agree. Take action. Don't just sit there and try to understand everything before you actually do anything, because that's part of how held me back. Call in, ask questions. If you don't have a mentor, get a mentor, and use the mentor to ask your questions. And I mean, that's what they're good at. They've done it. They're doing it.
So, in other words, take the first step, and the next step will quickly be revealed. You don't need to see the light at the other end of the tunnel. You just need to get the heck into the tunnel, huh?
That's correct.
I'm trying to say, yeah. In other words, you're never, ever, ever going to take the first step if you have to have every answer to every question that'll ever come up to your mind. Well, that is inside and or outside of real estate. In other words, get movement. So actually, very similar to what Travis said, just take action. I always tell people, go out and make a mess. And if you do not use your credit, in other words, you don't guarantee debt, which is prohibited on Planet Ron, and you do not write big checks and you don't make promises you can't keep, it's very difficult for you to do anything that'll make a big mess. So small messes, we just make them and we clean them up and we move forward. We get really good, and next thing you know, a year goes by and everybody thinks we're an expert, huh, guys? You're still coming, Travis.
I'm still getting there, but hey, you know what? I have a quote on my wall, and I got it from Ron. The expert in anything was once a beginner.
There you go, sir. All right, well, gentlemen, I appreciate the time you took out of your lives today to spend this with me and the rest of my audience. And I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. I know I certainly will from Corey, because I haven't given him a choice. So appreciate you coming on here. And thank you very much, Travis. It's been fun talking to you today.
It was my pleasure.
So with that said, I will see all of you on the next Mentor podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and share this with everybody you know so that they can tune in as well. We're going to have a lot of different interview a lot of different folks on a lot of different subjects. So but pay you to tune in. It's free. I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.